Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Hare
Hare
Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Shri
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Ram
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna
Ram
Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare Ram Hare Ram
Hare Krishna Krishna
Ram
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Ram Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna
Hare Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna
Hare Ram
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Krishna,
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for giving your
Hare
assistance.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Anything you like to share with us?
Yes, Prabhuji, I will bhajan in fasting.
being recorded now.
Yes. So this is the next song in the Pratna series. हरि हरि बिफले जन्म गवाइनु मनुष्य जन्मा पाइया राधा कृष्ण न भजिया जानिया सुनिया विष खाइनु गोलोकेरा प्रेमाधन हरि नाम संकीर्तन रति ना जन्मिलो के निताय संसारा विषानाले तिबानी शिहिया ज्वले चुराइते न कोइनु उपाय ब्रजेंद्र नंदन जय सची सुत होलो से बलराम होलो निताय तीनहीन जटा छिलो हरि नामे उद्धारिलो तारा साक्षी जगाय मधाय हा हा प्रभु नंदा सुता वृषभानु सुता जुता करुणा करो ए बारो नरोत्तम दासा को नाथेली हो रंगा पाए तुम बिन के आछे अमारो हरि हरि बिफले जन्म गवाइनु. Translation. O Lord Hari, I have spent my life uselessly, having obtained a human birth and having not worshipped Radha and Krishna. I have knowingly drunk poison. The treasure of divine love in Golok Vrindavan has descended as the congregational chanting of Lord Hari's holy names. Why did my attraction for that chanting never come about? Day and night my heart burns from the fire of poison of worldliness, and I have not taken the means to relieve it. Lord Krishna, who is the son of the king of Raj, became the son of Sachi, Lord Chaitanya, and Balram became Nitai. The holy name delivered all those souls who were lowly and wretched. The two sinners, Jagai and Madai, are evidence of this. O Lord Krishna, son of Nanda, accompanied by the daughter of Vishpanu, please be merciful to me now. Narottam Das says, O Lord, please do not push me away from your reddish lotus feet, for who is my beloved except for you? So Narottam Das Thakur is saying that I wasted my human birth by not worshipping Radha and Krishna, but instead, seeking sense gratification, which is just like poison. Poison because it keeps the soul away from its eternal enjoyment, and so much suffering is there. Trying to enjoy material in this world. And Hare Krishna mantra is actually, when we chant Hare Krishna mantra, it's like participating in Radha Krishna's Ras Leela. So all the pastimes of Radha and Krishna in the divine Golok Vrindavan is there in the chanting of the holy names, and it is revealed to us when we are pure in our heart. But having desires other than serving Radha and Krishna, they are like poison, and we are burning in that fire of poison. And then Lord has come, Krishna has come as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Balram has come as Nityananda Prabhu. And holy name has delivered all sinners like Jagai and Madai, but I am even lower than Jagai and Madai. I am not delivered, and because I'm not seeking the mercy of the Hare Krishna mantra. So Narottam Das Thakur is saying that you are my only beloved, Radha and Krishna, you are my only beloved. So don't push me away. Please give me mercy. Please give me attraction to chanting your holy name. So today's pastime. There is a place in Raj called Haronyan Haroyan Gram. Once Radha and Krishna sat down at this place. Shri Krishna told Radharani, "O Pran Priye, please listen. For a long time I have not played dice, but today I feel a strong desire to do so." So Krishna wants to play dice. Lalita smiled to hear this from Krishna and said, "Krishna Chandra, you want to play dice with Rai? But what kind of dice will you play with her? You do not even know how to throw the dice properly. I know for a fact that previously so many times you have been defeated by Rai in the dice game. Still, you want to play with her? Whenever you play, you start fighting and raising disputes. So certainly you may play, but be warned, we will not allow your arguing and fighting anymore." So whenever Krishna plays with his friends or with the gopis, he always gets defeated. Krishna gets defeated with the love of his devotees, and whenever he gets defeated, he's arguing and raising disputes. Like also when he's playing with the gopas, if he gets defeated, he has to become a horse, and Krishna says, "I don't want to become a horse. My Baba, my Nanda Maharaj has so many, 900,000 cows. I am like, from a rich family. Why should I become a horse? I don't know." So like that, he raises arguments whenever he's defeated. If you want to, so Krishna is saying, or the gopis are saying, if you want to play, then both parties must keep some pana. Then play will start. So you have to keep a wager. We will decide who is defeated and who is victorious. Both Rasika Krishna and Rasavati Radharani laughed to hear Lalita's words and asked her, "Then tell us what you want us to use as pana." So Lalita said, "What can Krishna give me? He has only one bamboo flute as his own property. He has nothing else. So let him give me that flute. And Radharani should give me her her necklace." So gopis are always after Krishna's flute. They want to steal Krishna's flute away because the flute, whenever Krishna plays the flute, gopis they lose their mind and they have to drop everything and they become mad. And Krishna calls them to the spot where he is. So gopis always want to steal Krishna's flute. So Lalita is saying that Krishna should keep flute as his pana and Radharani should keep her necklace. Krishna immediately said, "Certainly, take this flute. I have no problem with your request because I know very well that today Radharani will definitely be defeated and my flute will be returned to me." After receiving the flute from Krishna, Lalita asked Radharani for her necklace. Radharani said, "What need is there for me to give my necklace? I know very well that after playing one or two games, Krishna will be defeated." Lalita said, "What you say is true. We know that he will be the loser, but as per the rule of the game, you must keep your necklace with me." Radharani removed the manihar from her neck and gave it to Lalita, and thus the game commenced. Krishna threw the dice first. Both parties desired to win, but Krishna was overwhelmed by the sweet voice, bodily movements, attractive glances, and beautiful smiling face of Radharani. He was so agitated that he could not control himself, and he did not know what he was doing or saying. So Radharani is Madan Mohan Mohini, that she bewilders the mind of even Krishna, and Krishna loses his mind. He loses his control, and he doesn't know what he is doing because he is attracted by Radharani's sweet voice, her attractive glances, and a beautiful smiling face. Becoming very concerned, Krishna said, "Lalite, your Sakhi is doing me an injustice. She is moving her body and looking at me in such a way that my mind is completely disturbed. In this situation, how can I play dice properly? If Radhika can stop her attractive glances upon me, then only can I play properly." Seeing Krishna's predicament, Lalita said, "Krishna Chandra, you have become overwhelmed due to your own fickleness. First of all, you are Rasika Nagar. On top of that, you are sitting with your Nagari Radharani. Every word spoken between you and Radhika is overflowing with transcendental mellows. When this happens, you cannot remember what you're doing. If you want to play with Srimati Radharani, then fix your mind. Only this way you can win. Krishna replied, Actually, I am not disturbed at all, but the sidelong glance of Radharani has made me puzzled. Then Krishna controlled himself and with great pride started to throw the dice, calling 2, 4. But the dice did not show the number called by Krishna, and so it was Radhika's turn. So dice is not following Krishna's commands. Whatever numbers Srimati Radharani called, the dice showed, and thus Radharani was victorious over Krishna. The Sakhis said, Oh Krishna, just see, we told you before that you will be defeated in this dice game. Sri Radha is the crest jewel of Vidagdha, and she is most beautiful. She is Rasavati Ramani, educated with all kinds of knowledge and different mellows. She is capable of attracting the heart and mind of Rasika Shekhar. That is why she has been able to defeat you. Krishna said, Sakhi, what you say is true because I am a simple cowherd boy. I am very good at cowherd boys' games. I am very simple in my heart. I do not know the rules of duplicity. For this reason, Radharani has defeated me with her different tricks and her sidelong glances. With this kind of injustice going on, I will not stay here even a moment longer. Now give me back my flute. I must tend to the cows. So Krishna is saying that I am a very simple coward boy. I have a simple heart, but Radharani plays different tricks and is duplicitous with her duplicity in following the rules. With her sidelong glances, she is cheating and there is some injustice going on. So I will not play any longer. So give me back my flute. I'll go and play with my coward boys. Lalita said, Dear Krishna, this is not possible. O clever one, first tell me what gift you will give me if I will return this flute to you. Then I will return your flute. Krishna said, Lalite, I have no other property except my mind and this flute. Of these two, Radharani has already stolen my mind by the movements of her eyes. I have only one thing with me, and that is my flute. And now you want to take that from me? Now I understand your system, Lalite. Please listen. You are saying unless you get some gift, you will not give me back my flute. Then please do one thing. My mind is there with Radharani. If you can get it back from her, then I will give it to you. Otherwise, I do not have anything else to give you. So Krishna is saying Radharani has stolen my mind and you can take my mind from her. So same thing when Krishna called the gopis for Ras Leela, and Krishna said to the gopis, first you go back to your homes and do your duties as a wife and mother. So gopis said that you have stolen our mind. We cannot go back. So please give us back our mind and then we can go. Same thing Krishna is saying that my mind is stolen by Radharani. Lalita said, You know how to talk nicely. We are maid servants of Radharani. We do not know if she has stolen your mind. Krishna said, I do not speak a lie. You should believe me that Radharani has stolen my mind and has kept it within her heart. There is no way my mind can come out of that place. If none of you believe me, then I will show you now, right here, how she holds my stolen mind within her heart. Saying this, Krishna moved towards Srimati Radharani, reaching for his mind, and that she had stolen kept in her heart. All the Sakhis discreetly left the kunja and waited outside. After some time, Radharani returned to her house along with her Sakhis, and Krishna went to graze the cows along with his flute. Because Krishna was defeated in this game, this place is called Haranya Gram. Harya means defeated and Gram means village. Place where Krishna was defeated in the dice game. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, nice pastor. Thank you for sharing. Haronyagram. Krishna played dice. Okay. Anything else anybody like to say?
Maybe Lakshmi Priya Mataji, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hare Krishna. I'm Lakshmi Priya. Thank you for inviting me to the group.
Thank you for joining. I think you come to temple often, right?
Yes.
Last Sunday also you were there, and before I think I know you, who you are, but just that the face I can't put. You wear glasses, correct?
Yes, correct.
You used to live in the temple when Mother Malti was here, right?
Yeah. I
Correct.
actually joined in Tucson, Arizona, and I lived in the ashram there for 5-6 years, and then I came here. I think it was 2002 or 2003, and I lived in the ashram here for about a year.
Nice. Thank you for joining us. And if you have anything to share, anytime you can share.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you to Sugandha invited. Okay, so we'll read Srimad Bhagavatam. So from pastimes to philosophy. This chapter is like that. It's fundamental principles of material nature. So we'll read some. The threefold ahankar, the source of gross elements, the senses and mind, is identical with them because it is their cause. It is known by the name of Sankarshan, who is directly Lord Ananta with 1,000 heads. So from false ego, everything manifests. The gross elements, earth, water, fire, ether, and the senses and the mind. It is known by the name of Sankarshan, who is directly Lord Ananta with 1,000 heads. Okay. This false ego is characterized as the doer, as an instrument, and as an effect. It is further characterized as serene, active, or dull, according to how it's influenced by the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So, false ego in the mode of goodness will be serene. It's still false ego. Then, false ego in the mode of passion is very active for sense gratification. False ego in ignorance is dull, it's lazy. Ahankar or false ego is transformed into the demigods, the controlling directors of material affairs. As an instrument, the false ego is represented as different senses and sense organs. And the result of combination of the demigods and the senses, material objects are produced. In the material world, we are producing so many things, and this is called advancement of civilization. But factually, the advancement of civilization is a manifestation of the false ego. By false ego, all material things are produced as objects of enjoyment. One has to seize increasing artificial necessities in the form of material objects. One great Acharya, Narottam Das Thakur, has lamented that when one deviates from pure Krishna consciousness of Vasudeva or Krishna consciousness, he becomes entangled in material activities. The exact words he uses are सत्संग छाडी कोइनु असते विलास ते कारणे लागिला ये कर्मबंध फास. सत्संग छाडी कैनु असते विलास ते कारणे lagila ye karma bandha phas. I have given up the pure state of consciousness because I wanted to enjoy the temporary material manifestation. Therefore, I have been entangled in the network of action and reactions. Okay, any comments on this? We've heard this many times. So many objects have been produced for enjoyment, especially with industrialization. Now you can replicate one object many, many times because the industries are there. Like the cars, right? So many cars have been produced, millions of cars because of the industry. So many iPhones, so many computers, so many TV sets. So many objects. The objects are not bad if you use them in Krishna's service, but it distracts us. All this phone and the TV and computer may distract us if we don't use them properly. So Prabhupada is saying that this is all the manifestation of the false ego. They are producing all these different things for enjoyment. So all the big skyscrapers, everything is based on the false ego. So the whole, if you go to like cities like New York and Beijing, big skyscrapers and so many different, and we think, yeah, this is the advancement of civilization. And some people are very proud, they have this as a backdrop on their screen, the big skyscrapers of a city and like that. So we think we are advancing in civilization, but the real advancement of civilization means you're moving towards your eternal life. That's advancement. So you're going back home, back to Godhead, or yeah. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna, how have these qualities come upon you? It does not befit an Aryan. Anarya Jushtam, he says, one who knows the progressive values of life. How have these things come upon you? And because of this advancement of civilization, we are working with machines, and life becomes very impersonal. Because working with machines, you don't have time for anybody else. It's all. Sometimes family members, they don't see each other because everybody's involved in their work, in the industry, or in the playing on video games or watching TV. And earlier in villages, they used to gather together, sit together, and they would hear Ramayana, like that, Gita or something related to the Lord. But now, because of the gadgets, all this different, there are so many distractions, and the impersonal people don't have time because we're working with machines and trying to improve the machines. So much research is going on how to make a better iPhone and like that. So earlier there was no email and no phone. So people, if they have to meet each other, they will see each other and they'll talk. Now it's impersonal. You don't see the person. It's on email. And you don't know actually, sometimes those things can be misinterpreted also, what the person is trying to say. And there is no, so even from a human interaction, all these things are working with machines. And Prabhupada says machines now do the job of so many people. Like now you have self-checkout, right? So you don't need people at the counter because machines can do. So many people will be unemployed because now machines are taking over. And then unemployment causes crime. and stress and all these things. So machines have replaced. Now they are talking about artificial intelligence, and so many robots will be there, and so many things like that. So humans will not have any work. So, so in this way, one becomes entangled in material activities, Prabhupada says. And one does not come to satsanga, to the association of devotees, but goes to asat. He takes pleasure. Vilas means pleasure. He takes pleasure in asat things, in temporary things, and then that causes karma bandha phas. Phas means the noose around the neck. When a person is going to be hanged, he is given. So this is all basically, it's all arrangement for our death. So we are entangled in our karma cycle. Karma cycle is going on. And we are entangled because we have turned away from Krishna. And we don't offer the results of our work to Krishna. Yagnarthat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. We don't accept Krishna is the enjoyer. And so we want to enjoy the fruits for ourselves. And that's why we get into this karma bandhan. And then we have to go through repeated birth and death. And karma is also very, it keeps changing all the time. So that's what Prabhupada is saying in the verse here. Like Prabhu was saying, Sukdev Goswami was saying, what is the need of pillow when there is
Elbow.
elbow? What is the need of a bed when there are leaves or something like that? He's saying, there's a verse like that. What is the need of this? What is the need? What is need of a house when there are caves to live in? Something like that. What is the need of? But of course, we can't live like that. But that means you have to live simply and not make unnecessarily complex situation and forget the goal of life. That's what ultimately. So we may think, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that, and I will not enjoy. But with these things, you can't get happiness of the soul. So with external things, you can't get. Like he was quoting, he was quoting yesterday that the people who are going on yatra, they were, he was saying, somebody was saying, I'm sleeping in the house, but where is the happiness? Whereas here, I'm sleeping out in the open, but there is happiness. Something like that. So we may be living in a very palatial house and everything, but we may be very full of anxiety and depressed. And a person may have not so much, but he may be very happy. So living simply. So this is how the culture is like that, until we have all these things, we will not be happy. It's like that. So, yeah. Read that. You can read.
It says, when there are ample earthly flats to lie on, what is the necessity of cots and beds? When one can use his own arms, what is the necessity of a pillow? When one can use the palms of his hands, what is the necessity of varieties of utensils? When there is ample covering or the skins of trees, what is the necessity of clothing? Are there no torn clothes lying on the common road? Do the trees which exist for maintaining others no longer give alms in charity? Do the rivers being dried up no longer supply water to the thirsty? Are the caves of the mountains now closed? Or above all, does the Almighty Lord not protect the fully surrendered souls? Why then do the learned sages go to flatter those who are intoxicated by hard-earned wealth?
So Krishna is provided. So why should we flatter somebody? That's what Sukdev Goswami is saying. Why should we beg for our necessities from wealthy people when, of course, we are also asking people to donate for our temple, but that is they are giving to Krishna. So not for personal thing, but for Krishna's house. So that's different. Bhaktivinoda Thakur also went door to door begging for money to build the temple. So, so there is really, yeah, read that. For,
Yeah, the verse, this is the verse prior to these verses. It says, "For this reason, the enlightened person should endeavor only for the minimum necessities of life while in the world of names. He should be intelligently fixed and never endeavor for unwanted things, being competent to perceive practically that all such endeavors are merely hard labor for nothing."
so we have to work, like he was saying, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is 888. 8 hours sleeping and all your bodily necessities, 8 hours for working, and 8 hours for Krishna consciousness. Like that. And whatever by working for 8 hours you get as a result of your karma, you just accept it. And don't try for more greed. Don't become too greedy. So 888. 8 hours every day Krishna consciousness, 8 hours sleeping, maybe 6 hours, and maybe 1 or 2 hours cooking and eating and all that. And then 8 hours for, of course, cooking can be Krishna conscious activity. So if Krishna accepts our food even once, then our life is successful. Prabhupada was saying that. Let me show you that quote from Prabhupada. If you offer to Krishna something and he accepts, even a flower or some food or whatever, once God eats from your hand, then your life is successful. Little service to God is taken as great service. Krishna is so kind. So we should try to always give the best service, best energy, and you become liberated. Actually, we cannot give any service to Krishna. He's unlimited. What is the value of our service? But he takes it seriously. Oh, he's trying to give me some service. He doesn't need any service because he has everything. Otherwise, what service he needs from us? Suppose he has created this big universe. What service can we give? By his will, he can create millions of universes. What service we can give him? No. These are the chances of service. This Rath Yatra, God is so great, so big. How can we pack up in the Rath? But this is a chance that you get him sit on the Rath and prepare it, manufacture it. Because your energy is engaged for his service, that is accepted. So similarly, like building the temple is also service to the Lord. So our energy should be employed in that. So just like for building the Rath, building the temple. So this example, just like a small child eating lozenges, and out of that he offers Father, Father, take it, and Father takes it very serious. Ah, very nice. And what is that lozenges to the Father? It is nothing. But because the child offers to the Father in love, Father takes it very seriously. Oh, you are so nice. Yes, yes, give me. This is stated in Bhagavad Gita. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhakta prayachati. A leaf of fruit, little water. What is the use of value of these? But yome bhakta prayachati. Because he is giving me in faith and devotion, I accept it. And what is this one piece of leaf and a fruit for God? It is nothing. He is being served by many thousands of goddesses of fortune. Lakshmi Sahasra Satasam Brahmasevya Manam. Then what is the value of this leaf and flower and fruit? But still he says, Tadaham Ashnami. Yes, I eat. And once God eats from your hand, then your life is successful. Okay, so remember it. So alright, so
Another Lakshman was there of Prabhupada, right? When he started to cry, same thing he was saying, but he was saying, don't be puffed up. What can you offer to Krishna?
I am so fallen, what can I really give to Krishna? That very nice, that clip is there from Prabhupada. So whatever we give, We should think. Actually, it's given to me by Krishna only, and I'm offering it back to him. All the money, everything is given to me by Krishna, everything, my energy, my time. He's only prolonging our life, right, from every day to every day. So the time we have extra should be used to serve God, basically. That's how, yeah, you can read that.
Saying everything belongs to Krishna. What you have got, what is your value, and what is the value of your things? It's nothing. Therefore, real thing is bhaktya. Real thing is your feeling. Krishna, kindly take it. I have no qualification. I'm most rotten, fallen. As Prabhupada is weeping. But I have brought this thing for you. Please take. This will be accepted. Don't be puffed up. Always be careful. You are dealing with Krishna.
So in a humble mood, we have to offer to Krishna, not a proud. So, and we have so many things there. Even if you don't offer to Krishna, Krishna will take it away from you. If you have devotion with like Sudama and Kolovich Sridhar and Raghunath Das Goswami, they didn't even offer to Krishna, and Krishna was so eager to take it from his devotee. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I don't accept my food at anybody's house who is not a Lakpati, who doesn't chant. How many rounds?
64.
64 rounds. So Prabhupada at least made it 16 rounds for us, but at least.
Yeah. So somebody asked Prabhupada, where is it mentioned by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita you have to chant 16 rounds? Prabhupada says, actually Krishna says to chant 24 hours. Satatam kirtayanto mam. I am merciful that I have given you only 16 rounds.
Yeah.
to chant.
So we will be able to chant more only when we get like taste in. And to chant, to get taste also, we have to chant more. So like that, both ways are there. And you chant with quality and quantity, then you get taste and then you chant more. And if we give up all our, yesterday Prabhu was saying that if you want to go back home, back to Godhead, then you have to give up all your desires for material enjoyment. Then only you can go back home, back to God. Otherwise, no, you stay here. And one who is bewildered by Bhoga and Aishwarya, they cannot become fixed up in Krishna consciousness. So our mind is distracted by it. We are thinking this material world as something very nice to offer. So yesterday also Prabhu was saying that when we give up this mentality, there is nothing nice in this material world. It's just a place of suffering and struggle. I was reading one verse. We shared it. It's 331. Endowed with right vision and strengthened by devotional service and a pessimistic attitude towards material identity, one should relegate his body to the illusory world through his reason. Thus, one can be unconcerned with this material world. It is sometimes misunderstood that if one has to associate with persons engaged in devotional service, he will not be able to solve the economic problem. To answer this argument, it is described here that one has to associate with liberated persons not directly, physically, but by understanding through philosophy and logic the problems of life. It is stated here, Samyak Darshanaya Buddhya, one has to see perfectly, and by intelligence and yogic practice, one has to renounce this world. That renunciation can be achieved by the process recommended in the second chapter of the first canto. The devotee's intelligence is always in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His attitude towards the material existence is one of detachment. For he knows perfectly well that this material world is a creation of illusory energy. Realizing himself to be a part and parcel of the Supreme Soul, the devotee discharges his devotional service and is completely aloof from material action. Thus at the end. So The attitude is of one of detachment towards the material world, Prabhupada says. And there is nothing nice in this material existence. It's just birth, death, old age, and disease happening. And all the struggle before birth and death happens, between that there is struggle. And at the end, we can't take anything with us. But in the beginning, in the middle, we come and say, this is mine, this is mine. We can't take anything with us. So, okay, so this chapter describes the miseries of birth.
Yesterday, Prabhu was talking about Vitthal, right? So he said Vit is the brick and Thal means standing. Lord is standing on the brick, and it was Indra who became the brick. And Indra is praying to the Lord to put his lotus feet on him. So Vit also means frustrated. So he was saying that unless you are frustrated, you cannot take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. So he was saying philosophically, you have to be convinced that this material world is dukhalayam, and the end result of all material activities is frustration.
Nice.
Vit means brick, and Vit also means frustrated.
In Marathi, yeah, he was saying some word is there like that. Okay. That's why Prabhupada says, right, the first qualification to go back to Godhead is to you to be. It is nothing will give me enjoyment here. That's how. No matter how much, whatever all these things, it's all nothing like that. We have to analyze and see in everybody's life around us, and then come to this conclusion. It's simply the struggle, and we have taken this struggle as enjoyment. As he was saying, that we have become one person went to an astrologer and said, what is my astrological reading? Can you tell me? He says, you have Shani, and that's why you'll go through difficulty for 7 years. Yeah. And then what after that? Oh, then you'll become used to it. Then you'll become used to the misery. So it will remain misery. So we have become used to this misery of material existence. So we are thinking it's natural. Oh yes, this is natural, this struggle, and everybody else is doing it. So that's why we don't make a solution. Otherwise, we should be unsettled by this. Or death is coming. Why I have to die? I don't want to die. Death, I have to leave up everything and go. I should be unsettled by this. Let me make a solution to death before death comes. Like that. So, but when we are like complacent and we don't, manda sumanda matayo, manda pagya, we are lazy in this to understand, to our intelligence is not very sharp. We don't understand actual situation. And we are complacent and lazy. So,
So it is interesting, Prabhuji. Yesterday in that lecture, I heard that as Indra was like, he said that Indra offended many times, and he realized that, oh, I have offended many times, and I have to take shelter of Krishna. That's why he was cursed by Vritrasu, right? And he became a brick. And then Krishna was standing on there and keep him like his lotus feet. But in this world, we offended many sinful activities we have done, but still, and many times we are defeated by Maya, but still we are keep trying. As you said that, we accepted things. We are not raising questions. We don't want to get out of this. As he said that there is a coin, two sides. Another side is scriptures, right? So even going through with the miseries, but we don't need to turn the page and see that what is the truth. seen by the scriptures. And even without going through the misery, we can see the scripture and we can understand that, right? This place is miserable, and we try to get out of this miserable place. But instead of doing this, we keep trying, and we accepted, we become complacent in this miseries, and we accepted death, birth, old age, and diseases, and keep struggling in this material world, right? So
Correct.
yeah.
Yeah, Maya gives some hope that next time it will be nice. You didn't succeed, but there is some nice situation out there that you are not in right now. So when you get something, and then when the situation, then you will be very happy. And you may get some illusory happiness, and then we get carried away by that illusory happiness. And then, death comes, and then everything falls apart. So, like that, it's, uh, it's the lure of that keeps us. And we want to also not change, because generally we want to keep things as they are. We want to be in our comfort zone, like that. Like that. Everybody is. That's like Nitai Sevani Mataji, she was saying, right? If I don't have current in my house, I'm unsettled. But if I look at my neighbor, and if the neighbor also doesn't have current in his house, then I'm thinking, yeah, it's okay. I'm all right. So, so it's like that. Then we think, yeah, everybody in this neighborhood doesn't have current. But if I only don't have current and everybody else has current, then I'm unsettled. But here, everybody is accepted like this. Like everybody is material consciousness. They've accepted this way of life, and so we are thinking, yeah, this is the motions of life. You have to go through these motions of life. You have to take birth, establish a career, then get a job, then get married, then have some children, then raise the children, then grow old, then die. So this is the normal course of life that everybody is like. So we think this is how it should be. This is how it should go. And we also want to be in our comfort zone. So you don't want to change things. You don't want to take that step of taking some risk and surrendering to Krishna like Prabhupada did, right? Of course, he took a big, we cannot imitate, but we like to keep things as they are, and we be in our comfort zone. And so like that. That's why we are like in our office also. Like if they are used to doing a thing a certain way, and if you say now there is new technology, now you have to do this way, they're resistant to change because you're accustomed to this way of doing things. So why you want to change? Even though it may be a better way of doing things, but you are accustomed to doing things in a certain way. So we are accustomed to birth, death, old age, disease, and we think like this is how the struggle of life should go on. And so that's so we don't really ask any. We don't, or we think, yeah, there is no solution. The devotees, because of lack of faith also. First, we don't believe that we are not this body, we are the soul, and there is spiritual world out there, and we have to go back. So we think, yeah, it's like, okay, we just rotate, and so many living entities are there. Like one time, Prabhupada was giving a class, and he was describing hell to the miners, those who are mining in the earth. They go deep down in the earth, and so he was describing hell, how it is damp, how it is dark, like that. And the miners were not very much. No, he says, yeah, we go in the mines, it is also. Then Prabhupada says, oh, there is no newspaper there in the hell, something like that. Then everybody was, or sometimes it is said, oh, your relatives will also be there in the hell. So then you say, yeah, okay, my relatives will also be there, so it will be nice. So everybody is there. So then I'm okay. So this is how. But the devotee has to think a little bit outside the box, not like they say the apple was falling before Newton observed it, right? Apple was falling, so many people observed it, but Newton was thinking, why is this apple falling down? What is then he discovered the law of gravitation. So like that, that why question he asked. So in spiritual life also you have to ask the question why. Why this? Why? I don't want to die. Why there is death? What is there a way? And we may not be able to find on our own. So we just accept scriptures and Guru Sadhu Shastra. We just say, yes, I'm not that intelligent to figure out on my own. Shastra is saying, so I just accept it. Anyway, even if it is wrong, what is the loss? It is only one life out of many. Prabhupada said like that. It's only one life out of many. Even if you did whatever you did and if it was not true, so what? It's okay. But it is true because all the great souls are saying it. So like that we have to convince our mind. Okay, so the next verse, 326-27. From the false ego of goodness, another transformation takes place. From this evolves the mind, whose thoughts and reflections give rise to desire. So goodness is in false ego is in goodness, passion and ignorance. From the false ego of goodness, another transformation takes place. From this evolves the mind. So mind is coming from transformation of false ego in the mode of goodness, whose thoughts and reflections give rise to desire. And intelligence, as we will see, it is coming from, or maybe another place. Yeah, intelligence takes birth. So we read this about how mind is coming from goodness and intelligence is coming from passion, because intelligence plans how to enjoy in this world. So it has to be in passion. That's material mind and material intelligence. Material mind proposes. So, and then intelligence, material intelligence, has to carry out that proposal of the mind. How to get that object of sense enjoyment. Material mind says, yes, this is how you can enjoy. And then material intelligence says, well, how will I get the object of enjoyment? So it plans. So it means activity. So that's why it's the mode of passion. From this evolves the mind, whose thoughts and reflections gives rise to desire. The symptoms of the mind are determination and rejection, sankalpa and vikalpa, we say, which are due to different kinds of desires. So today I like something, tomorrow mind says I don't like this. Next day it says I like this, and then it says I don't like this. So, like initially you like gulab jamun, then you eat 5 gulab jamuns, and the mind says no, now no more, I don't like it. Or today I like this person, then tomorrow says no, I don't like this person. So like that it happens, like divorces happen like that. In the beginning, oh, I like this person. Then after some time, no, I don't like, I can't stay with this person. So this is the nature of the mind. It accepts and rejects based on its desires for enjoyment. So the symptoms of mind are determination and rejection, which are due to different kinds of desires. We desire that which is favorable towards sense gratification and reject that which is not favorable to sense gratification. So at any time, we feel, yeah, this is nice for my enjoyment, so I accept. This is not nice, so I reject. After some time. The material mind is not fixed, so it is very fickle. Prabhupada says, my devotees are not fickle-minded. So, fickle-minded means mind is always fickle, going this way, that way. So ultimately we have to steady the mind by deliberate Krishna consciousness. Evam samstabhya atmana, what is that? Kama rupa durasadam. One should steady the mind by deliberate spiritual intelligence. Evam buddhe param buddhva samstabhya atmana jahi shatru mahabaho kama rupa durasadam. So mind is like that. It's going this way, that way all the time. The mood swings are also happening. This all because of the more influence of the modes of nature. The material mind is not fixed, but the very same mind can be fixed when engaged in the activities of Krishna consciousness. So it remains steady. Otherwise, as long as the mind is on the material platform, it is hovering. And all this rejection and acceptance is asat, temporary. It is stated that he whose mind is not fixed in Krishna consciousness must hover between acceptance and rejection. However advanced a man is in academic qualifications, as long as he is not fixed in Krishna consciousness, he will simply accept and reject and will never be able to fix his mind on a particular subject matter. Okay, so because sense gratification does not satisfy, so you keep changing, like because you have to keep going from one thing to next. So one may be very learned in academic qualifications, but that doesn't mean he's Krishna conscious. You simply accept and reject, and will never be able to fix the mind. So we are tasmad ekena manasa Bhagavan Sattvatam Patihi Shrotavyas Kirtitavyas ekena manasa, with one pointed attention. Manasa is mind. One pointed mind. One should chant here. Remember. Shrotavya Kirta. Tasmad ekena manasa Shrotavya Kirta. Deyas and worship. Deyas. Yes, Pujya Sanchanityada. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. The mind of the living entity is known by the name of Lord Aniruddha, the supreme ruler of the senses. He possesses a bluish black form resembling a lotus flower growing in the autumn. He is found slowly by the yogis. So that also, Bhogeshwarya Prasaktanam verse is also there. When our mind is distracted by desires for enjoyment and opulence, then it cannot be steady in Krishna consciousness. So we have to ultimately steady the mind by remaining in association of the devotees who are steady in their mind and practice and devotional service and free from material desires. The mind of the living entity is known by the name of Lord Aniruddha. If we are in association with those who are not steady in mind, then and looking for sense gratification, then their influence will affect us. So, but if we are in association of those who have steady mind and who are fixed up in Krishna consciousness, then by their association we will also become fixed up, because we'll see how they are, so steady and peaceful and so dedicated, and because of their association we will like to be. But if we associate with those who are not steady in their mind, and then we'll also be like that. So the mind of the living entity is known by the name of Lord Aniruddha. So Aniruddha is the presiding deity for the mind. The supreme ruler of the senses. He possesses a bluish black form resembling a lotus flower growing in the autumn. He is found slowly by the yogis. So Niruddha has a bluish black form resembling a lotus flower growing in autumn. The system of yoga entails controlling the mind, and the lord of the mind is Aniruddha. It is stated that Aniruddha is four-handed with Sudarshan Chakra, conch shell, club, and lotus flower. There are 24 forms of Vishnu, each differently named. So, because based on how the chakra and the lotus and the gada and the conch are placed in different hands, so it's like 4 into 3 into 2. So 12 times 2, 24 into 1, like that. From our math class, it's factorial 4. combination 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So there are 24 forms of Vishnu, each differently named. So depending on where among these 24 forms, Sankarsana, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, and Vasudeva are depicted very nicely in Chaitanya Charitamrita, where it is stated that Aniruddha is worshipped by the yogis. Meditation upon voidness is a modern invention of the fertile brain of some speculator. Actually, the process of yoga meditation as prescribed in this verse should be fixed upon the form of Aniruddha, which is expansion of Krishna, the Chaturvyu expansion. By meditating on Aniruddha, one can become free from the agitation of acceptance and rejection. When one's mind is fixed upon Aniruddha, so when we become fixed on Krishna consciousness, we can become free from the agitation of Sankalpa Vikalpa. When one's mind is fixed upon Aniruddha, one gradually becomes God realized. He approaches the pure status of Krishna consciousness, which is the ultimate goal of yoga. Prabhupada writes in purport in Bhagavad Gita, right? He says disturbance is due to what? Lack of an ultimate goal or something. So the mind is not steady because of the lack of an ultimate goal. So that's a moving target, So the goal should be to attain love of Krishna. If that is the goal, mind can be steady. Okay. Read that.
If one is not in Krishna consciousness, there cannot be a final goal for the mind. Disturbance is due to want of an ultimate goal, and when one is certain that Krishna is the enjoyer, proprietor, and friend of everyone and everything, then one can, with a steady mind, bring about peace. And this is in the Peace Formula, verse 260.
534. Second chapter, I think this is in second chapter.
Oh, no. 266 is something else. 266 says, one who is not connected with the Supreme can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace?
Okay, so Krishna Bhakti Nishkamate Vashanta. So more material desires, then more this will be unsteady, mind will be unsteady. So, okay. That's why people say we want to come to temple just to get some peace. Because, it's so much agitation in the mind. When they come in the temple, they feel like, it's nice. Okay, we'll stop here then. Time 8 or 9, we'll see Krishna book. We'll read this small verse. By transformation of the false ego in passion, intelligence takes birth. O virtuous lady, so Kapila Devi is telling Devavati, the functions of intelligence are to help in ascertaining the nature of the objects when they come into view and to help the senses. Intelligence is the discriminating power to understand an object, and it helps the senses make choice. But intelligence can also be corrupted because intelligence can also make plans to increase sense enjoyment. Right? How to? So this is all. Krishna says, "Indriyani mano buddhir."
The senses, the mind, and the intelligence are the spring places of lust.
Yeah, normally intelligence should guide, but when intelligence comes under this thing, then intelligence also plans how to satisfy its lusty desires. So, how to satisfy the lusty desires that the jiva is having, and so it plans like that. So, so all this conditioning, all these things can be reversed only by devotional service. By mercy of Krishna only, all these things can be reversed. So, because then super soul will guide the soul. The soul has to be guided by the super soul. Soul will guide the intelligence. Intelligence will guide the mind, and the mind will control the senses. Like that. When super soul is at the top. But without the super soul, then the soul is bewildered. As Prabhu was saying yesterday, right? If you don't have the umbrella of Krishna Kripa in this material world, then you become bewildered. To get Krishna Kripa, we have to engage in devotional service. Or we have to desire, then Krishna makes the arrangement to engage in devotional service. So without the umbrella, we'll get wet, was mentioned. Otherwise also we'll get wet, but not fully wet. Only the feet will get wet if you have an umbrella. So umbrella is Krishna's lifting Govardhan hill is like the umbrella. There are verses like that how in Padyavali, right? How Krishna protected all the Vrajavasis by lifting the Govardhan hill. It's the same way Krishna can protect me. Maybe some verse like that is there. So, intelligence is the discriminating power to understand an object, and it helps the senses make choices. Therefore, intelligence is supposed to be the master of the senses. The perfection of intelligence is attained when one becomes fixed in the activities of Krishna consciousness. By the proper use of intelligence, one's consciousness is expanded, and the ultimate expansion of consciousness is Krishna consciousness. And Krishna gives that intelligence. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupyanti. So Krishna is in the heart, and he says, I give the buddhi, the intelligence. When one engages in devotional service, then Krishna gives the intelligence from within the heart. So, because Krishna is also very eager, he's crying in the spiritual world, as Gaur Govind Swami says. He's crying for the jiva. Imagine the Supreme Lord is in crying, and we see that how Gopakumar, when he goes back, Krishna sheds volumes of tears. So Krishna is kind and he's crying for us, so that we can go back to him. And we are in suffering condition. No father likes his children to be in suffering condition. Father will cry, feels for his child. Krishna being the Supreme Father, he feels for all the jivas. So we have to just engage in devotional service, and then Krishna will take care. Surrender to Krishna, and that means surrender means serve him. By the proper use of intelligence, one's consciousness is expanded, and the ultimate expansion of consciousness is Krishna consciousness. So once consciousness is expanded means it blooms, the consciousness blooms. What are the different stages of the blooming of consciousness?
Achadita, Mukulita, Viksita, Purna Viksita. And Achadita, then Sankuchita. So Achadita is like the trees, consciousness of the trees. Sankuchita is like the animals. And the humans have this Mukulita, Viksita, and Purna Viksita. Mukulita is like the bud consciousness, and Viksita, blooming, and Purna Viksita is fully bloomed consciousness.
So consciousness is expanded, Prabhupada says, by proper use of intelligence.
Also we have Annamaya, Pranamaya, Jnanmaya, Vijnanmaya, Anandamaya.
That's another, yeah. Thank you.
One time, Keshav Swami was like a when we're planting a seed, something is we can see, but something is growing inside, which is can be visible, and that stage he was talking about. And then when something budding stage, right, when it's coming up, um, that stage is describing like a consciousness, and then like flowering stage and the blooming stage, like I was talking about. Nice. Maybe this is the same thing that
Yeah.
Mataji was saying.
Mukulita means the bird, and then Viksita means the
Blooming.
flowering. Or what is the second? The bud stage,
Yeah,
the
budding
flower.
stage.
Mukulita is a bud,
Bud.
and Viksita is the blooming, and Purna Viksita is fully bloomed.
Fully bloomed, yeah. So when consciousness expands, then Vasudhaiva Kutumbikam.
So in the lust series also there is a uh, so in the lust series also there is a degree of lust, right? The dhumena vritava, so that is fire covered by smoke, mirror is covered by dust, and embryo is covered by womb. So it is also described like fire is covered by smoke is like living entities, right? And uh, no fire, mirror is covered by
No,
dust is
fire
a
covered
living
by smoke is
entity, right?
human.
And the animals.
Dust on the mirror is animals, and the
Yeah, go ahead, Mataji.
embryo covered by womb is the trees.
Yeah, the plants.
Correct.
Mhm.
I think the first is Achadita, right? Or Sankuchita. First,
Achadita is the
first.
trees.
Then covered consciousness. Then Shankarna.
Sankuchita is animals.
Sankuchita is animals. Then Mukulita is human consciousness. Because it can, in human consciousness, yeah, it can bloom if it is exposed. They say, like, our heart is like a lotus. And for lotus to bloom, two things are required. One is what?
The sun and the water.
Sun and water. The sun is Krishna, and the water is association of devotees. So if you are in the association of devotees or under the shelter of the devotees and you are exposed to Krishna, then the lotus blooms. So in the same way, like that, the lotus blooms when one is exposed. So our consciousness blooms when we hear about Krishna in the association of devotees.
Nitya Siddha Krishna Prince. Shravan, hearing and chanting is like water and sun, or association of devotees through which we hear. Love for Krishna will be awakened.
Yeah, so that's so intelligence. How intelligence? Krishna says, one who studies the Bhagavad Gita, one who studies this sacred conversation of ours, worships me by his intelligence. So intelligence should be applied to reading the scriptures, and by reading the scriptures, we are using our intelligence to worship Krishna. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says like that. So we have to try to understand what Krishna is saying, not give our own philosophy. So just the Bhagavad Gita can give perfection. By the proper use of intelligence, one's consciousness. So our consciousness expands, like Arjuna's consciousness expanded after hearing Bhagavad Gita, and he was ready to fight. First, he was in narrow-minded consciousness. He was thinking in terms of family and like that. And of course, that Prabhupada says that's the nature of a soft-hearted devotee. He doesn't want to cause. He's not greedy. He doesn't want to. But then he understood. No, Krishna wants this. So expanding consciousness means also going from the narrow vision to the broad vision. Vasudhaiva Kutumbikam, I was saying that. Vidya Vinay Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini. Everybody is part and parcel of God. Every jiva, every living entity is servant of God, is part and parcel of God. Spirit, soul. So, like that. Then our love expands to all the living entities. If we love Krishna, then we love all the living entities because we are all his part and parcels. And that's why Prabhupada, he wants to give Krishna to everyone because he knows that everybody is suffering without Krishna consciousness. So, out of his compassion, he's preaching. So, this is how. Because Krishna is in anxiety for all the jivas, so he wants to reduce the anxiety of Krishna by bringing them to the lotus feet of Krishna. Somebody reduces your anxiety, you are very grateful. That's why Krishna becomes grateful. So, by the proper use of intelligence, one's consciousness is expanded. And the ultimate expansion of consciousness is Krishna consciousness. So, in the mode of ignorance, it is a little bit less, like in animals. Then, mode of passion, a little bit higher in human beings. Then, goodness, maybe we become more saintly, then it's more like that, than pure goodness. So, then you become Krishna conscious, then you see, oh, the whole world belongs to Krishna. Everybody belongs to Krishna. Everything that is Krishna is the proprietor. Like that. And that's the ultimate expansion of consciousness. To see universally everybody as everything and everyone as belonging to Krishna. Okay, so like that. Stop here. Okay, we'll read Krishna book. So time. Pradyumna born to Krishna and Rukmini. So yesterday we heard nice pastime how Krishna Rukmini was waiting and Krishna went to Pundalik. Pundalik was his name.
Yes.
Pundalik, because he was serving his parents who were devotees. Okay. Krishna Rukmini, Pradyumna born to Krishna. It is said that Cupid, who is directly part and parcel of Lord Vasudeva, and who was formerly burned to ashes by the anger of Lord Shiva, took birth from the womb of Rukmini, begotten by Krishna. So Pradyumna is nothing but the incarnation of Cupid, who is directly part and parcel of Lord Vasudeva. And he was burned to ashes by Lord Shiva because he tried to distract Lord Shiva or something like that. That's why.
Yes, Prabhu.
This is Kamadev, a demigod of the heavenly planets, especially capable of inducing lusty desires. So when lusty desires rise in us, we should know that it's the influence of Kamadev. Every action or every desire is controlled by some demigod like that. So this is Kamadev, a demigod of the heavenly planets, especially capable of inducing lusty desires. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, has many grades of parts and parcels, but the quadruple expansion of Krishna, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha are directly in the Vishnu category. So they are Vishnu Tattva. Kama, or the Cupid demigod, who later took his birth from the womb of Rukmini, was also named Pradyumna, but he cannot be the Pradyumna of Vishnu category. So this Pradyumna, who was born to Krishna and Rukmini, is not the same Pradyumna of the Chaturveda expansion. Adikarta Prabhu sent message, today is Ekadashi. We have not seen him in a while. Okay. He cannot be the Pradyumna of Vishnu category. He belongs to the category of Jiva Tattva. But for exhibiting special power in the category of demigods, he was part and parcel of the super prowess of Pradyumna. That is the verdict of the Goswamis. So he is a Jiva Tattva, but for exhibiting special power in the category of demigods, he was part and parcel. So he is the Pradyumna's part and parcel. Dandavats.
So the Kamdev has 5 arrows that he uses to bewilder, and each of the arrows means something. So we can read it later. What are the 5 arrows of Kamdev? The first arrow causes infatuation. Second arrow causes pierces the heart. Separation becomes unbearable. And third arrow pierces the heart, which begins to burn. So I mean, there are 5 things that happen when somebody gets hit by the arrows.
Infatuation, agitation, heart burning, extreme dryness, and destruction. Ultimately, destruction is also there. So, okay. So, we'll just finish this paragraph. It's almost going to be 8:30. We'll read this article tomorrow. It's a nice article. He belongs to the category of Jiva Tattva, but for exhibiting special power in the category of demigods, he was part and parcel of the super prowess of Pradyumna. That is the verdict of the Goswamis. Therefore, when Cupid was burned to ashes by the anger of Lord Shiva, he merged into the body of Vasudeva, and to get his body again, he was begotten in the womb of Rukmini by Lord Krishna himself. So when Cupid was burned, he merged into the body of Vasudeva, and then again he came out. He was born by Lord Krishna himself. Thus he was the son of Krishna and celebrated by the name Pradyumna. But because he was begotten by Lord Krishna directly, his qualities were similar, most similar to those of Krishna. So there was a demon of the name Sambara who was destined to kill by Pradyumna. The Shambar demon knew of his destiny, and as soon as he learned that Pradyumna had been born, he took the shape of a woman and kidnapped the baby from maternity home less than 10 days after his birth. Shambara wanted to kill Pradyumna before Pradyumna killed him, so he kidnapped the child. Pradyumna, who was born, was kidnapped by Shambara, who was destined to be killed by Pradyumna. The demon took him and threw him directly into the sea. But as it is said, whoever is protected by Krishna, no one can kill, and whoever is destined to be killed by Krishna, no one can protect. Mare Krishna Rakhe Krishna Mare. When Pradyumna was thrown into the sea, a big fish immediately swallowed him. Later, this fish was caught in the net of a fisherman. So fish swallowed Pradyumna. Then this fish was caught, and the fish was later sold to the Shambara demon. So the same person came back to the demon. Sambara wanted to kill Pradyumna, but then he threw him into the sea. The fish swallowed it, the fish was caught by a fisherman, and the fish was sold to the same demon who threw him in. In the kitchen of the demon was a maidservant whose name was Mayavati. This woman had formerly been the wife of Cupid, called Rati. So there was a maidservant. The fish came, and they were going to prepare the fish for food. And then this woman, who was the maidservant, Mayavati, when the fish was presented to the demon Shambara, it was taken charge of by his cook. So this Rati is none other than the consort of Cupid. So this fish came in whose body was Pradyumna, and then was to make into a palatable fish preparation. Demons and Rakshasas are accustomed to eat meat, fish, and similar non-vegetarian foods. Demons like Ravana, Kansa, and Hiranyakashipu, although born of Brahmana and Kshatriya fathers, used to take meat and fish without discrimination. This practice is still prevalent in India, and those who eat meat and fish are generally called demons and Rakshasas. Okay, so we'll see what happened with that fish. So, move it here. Thank you for your association this morning. Everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.